All right, good morning to everybody. We're off and running on a Thursday. John Lynch spoke this morning on the KNBR Morning Show with Brian Murphy and Marcus Boucher and went through a number of different topics, and we're going to hit that right here. There's a lot of interesting stuff today. Today was a very interesting John Lynch. He sits down on Thursdays with Murph and Marcus on the KNBR Morning Show. And they always pepper him with a bunch of good topics, and today was no different. Now, Lynch talked a little bit about the sideline confrontation between Jauan Jennings and Kyle Shanahan last Sunday. And of course, he downplayed it. He says, I think two passionate people are trying to win a game, and sometimes those things happen. I kind of like it. I like that will. And they figured it out, and we moved on. So, deep down, Jauan Jennings really can't do anything to piss off the Niners. They really, really, really love everything that he's about. And part of what they love about what he's about is that he's a red ass, man. He will get after it. He wants a fight. He wants to fight Shanahan, but he also wants to fight the opposing corner, and he wants to fight the opposing linebacker, and that's what football is. It's a fight. So you show me a guy that likes to fight, I'll show you a guy that could probably play some pretty good football. And it can't get out of hand, and it can't be unprofessional. But Lynch basically said, "Hey, look, JJ's a Type A personality, and everything's good going forward, and so we move on." John Lynch also weighed in on the status of Brandon Aiyuk, saying that he's getting closer. He is getting closer, and I can see that each week. He's better today than he was last week at this time. That's all positive. That's the update. So, in other words, there is no update. There's no timeline. Whether he plays this year or not sounds like it's still very much a question. And while he's getting closer, this idea that he's going to be back, I mean, the people that were saying week one, I mean, I don't even know what to say about that at this point. It's week 7, and he's nowhere near to returning. And I told you Thanksgiving. It is middle October. That means about 6 weeks from now. And I think that's a pretty reasonable expectation for his return, about 6 weeks. And at that point, we're going to find out, are the 49ers a team that's worth returning to? That's the other question. Lynch went on and was asked about Fred Warner's injury and how Fred's injury will impact the 49ers from looking for trades. And I think this is an answer that I think a lot of us were waiting to hear. He said, we've got plenty in this team to go and win football games. You do your due diligence. He's talking about trades. You do your due diligence. You put in the work in. There are variables that change from week to week, but we will always do what's best for our football team to go compete and to win. So, I mean, I'll crunch that for you and into the truth machine. What that means is, of course, it has an impact, but so does everything else. Everything has an impact on what they decide to do. And if the Niners lose a bunch of games, they're probably just, they probably won't do anything. Or if they do something, it'll be totally minor. If they win a bunch of games between now and the trade deadline, maybe they'll go after a more serious piece. Maybe they'll look at themselves as more serious contenders. But they're always going to look to trade because they're really competitive and they want to win now. Shanahan's impatient. Lynch is impatient. They've been waiting a long time. They don't want to say goodbye to any individual season if they don't have to, but they're also not going to run, they're not going to trade away 2026 draft capital if they don't even think they got a playoff team on their hands. So I think what's the locker room's obligation? To show John Lynch going into that week 9 trade deadline that they're very much in the playoff push. And at that point, I think he's going to do what we all think he's going to do, which is go add a piece or two to this puzzle to try to help them get over the finish line. And then Lynch was also asked about Fred Warner's timeline. Everybody wants to know about Fred Warner's timeline. Guys, it was a major fracture dislocation. He's done for the year. Lynch was asked about could he be back for the playoffs. He said, we'll talk to the doctors. They'll be over here today. We did briefly. Let's get there and let's see. Fred, you give him a timeline and he'll want to break it and beat it. Okay, that's fine. But I mean, what's best for the player's career? Rehabilitate that thing. come back next year stronger than ever. That would be my thought on it. Come back next year stronger than ever, you know, and don't put it up, don't pressure yourself to come back this year. That's kind of the way I would look at it. Don't pressure yourself to come back this year. If you can, you can. But if you can't, you can't. Getting closer, getting closer. Well, of course he's getting closer. I mean, what's the alternative? He's not getting closer. He's actually further away from coming back. I mean, so the getting closer thing, it's like, okay, that's like me saying, hey guys, we're getting older. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for that. No, we're getting older. So there really is no update. There's no timeline other than he's getting better, and we'll see. I'll stick with what I said all off season, all summer, which was Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a reasonable time for him to return, and I think he won't return before that. Now he may return after that, but he won't return before that. Lynch also weighed in on Ricky Pearsall. Where's Ricky Pearsall? Wow, this knee injury just keeps going and going and going. He says, I don't think the knee is worse than we initially thought. Wide receiver is a tough spot with certain injuries to come back from. Ricky's doing the best he can to get back. That is true. I mean, if you're a wide receiver, you have to sprint. And it's not like the corner's like, hey, man, I know you're not 100%, so I'll just go 3/4. No, he's going 100%. So you're going to have to sprint. The perimeter in the NFL is about 100%. You got to give 100%. You don't get open against NFL corners without giving 100%. You don't man up an NFL wide receiver without giving 100%. So if you're less than physically 100%, it's hard to play those positions. And that's where Ricky's at right now. He's unable because of the knee to give it 100%, and so he's not on the field. Lynch was asked about whether or not Brock Purdy is going to play this week. He said, we'll see. It was great to see Brock out there in practice. Mac's been tremendous for us. Brock's getting closer. Mac is running our team very efficiently in the absence of Brock, but Brock is our franchise guy. And when he's ready, we welcome the opportunity to have him back. So I'll once again, through the truth machine, Mac Jones goes this week. When Brock Purdy's right, he's going to go. I would say you can almost guarantee that Brock's going to give it a go next week. Why? Because otherwise they would have put him on the IR. They would have put him on the IR and got another roster spot. Instead, he said, no, don't put me on the IR. I'll be back before 4 weeks. So I don't think he's going to play this week against the Falcons, but I do think he'll play against Houston. And by the way, Lynch also confirmed that Brandon Aiyuk, confirmed to be working out this morning at the team facility. And earlier this week, a couple people noted that Aiyuk was not showing up to practice. And obviously there's nothing to that. Obviously he's showing up at practice. So there you go. And then, as far as Lynch also made one more confirmation. He confirmed that Tatum Bethune will wear the green dot. Now, we had that confirmed yesterday, but some reason that is coming across as news today. Yeah, it's been said a few times from Tatum, from Shanahan, even a few days ago when Fred first suffered the injury. I mean, that Tatum Bethune is going to step in. It won't be D. Winters. It'll be Tatum Bethune that steps in, plays that Mike linebacker spot. He will take over as the starter there. He had 10 tackles. He's a pretty good young football player. He's not Fred Warner, but he will be wearing the green dot, and he'll have the responsibility of calling the defense, which is a lot. That's a lot on a young guy, but I think he can handle it. So there you go. There you go. You got a pretty good breakdown there. Also, Mac Jones is more likely to start this week, Sunday night against the Falcons, according to Ian Rappaport. So that's out as well. Most likely it's going to be Mac Jones without some kind of physical setback starting Sunday night against the Falcons. We should tell you that we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. or until they run out, and they do run out. So get there early, get some brisket chili. Tell them that Krug sent you. And we should also tell you 49er football all season long is presented by Sleeper, the fastest growing fantasy platform in the world. It's a one-stop shop. You get blazing fast news, real-time stats, group chats, season-long leagues, and of course, Sleeper picks for daily fantasy. Use promo code Larry. Sleeper will match your first deposit up to $100. Links in the description. Terms and conditions do apply. All right. It's a big Thursday. We'll be at Niner camp today. Robert Saleh, Kubiak. We'll talk to Mac Jones. We'll go in the locker room. We have Niners Nightly tonight after the Thursday night football game. David Archer, the color analyst for the Atlanta Falcons, is going to stop by. Looking forward to that. And thanks to all of you guys for supporting The Krug Show on YouTube,